Hey y'all, how y'all doing? Happy Friday again. I wanted to come in and talk a little bit more about Venus. This is such a profound day. I didn't talk about it earlier because I didn't want to mix all of that in, because it felt like it was too much information to pile in at one time, and I wasn't even sure if I was going to be able to come back today. But I am, so here we are. And we are in a Venus day, and today is Friday the 13th. And the 13th energy is the energy of high creation. It's like profound feminine energy that is highly creative. So today is a day that feminine energy, your internal force, is stronger. And I wanted to come in and talk about these experiences of love and share a story that I have about an experience I have had around love. Venus is the planet that rules love. And we are in a culture that truly romanticizes the connection between the masculine and feminine, and we romanticize it in a way that renders the feminine powerless, actually. Because the way that we have romanticized our connections with men, the way that we have been told that we need to be rescued, that we need people to protect us. We've been given these narratives that ultimately mean that we are weak as women, that there needs to be something outside of us that is protecting us. And what we don't get, or what we're not told, is that the feminine truly is the protecting force in the universe. And how we protect is by following cycles. Because when you understand cycles, you know what powers are really available. And the masculine doesn't really have access to that in the way that the feminine does. And so I want to tell a story. So you guys have heard me talk about how my mother was a prostitute and my father was a pimp. And now that we have modern language around that, I would say that my mother was a pick-me, right? Like that, whatever that language is. My mother was just very devoted to men. Her whole sense of self was anchored in men. And I don't really have any opinion about that, but I just want to say that that's how I experienced my mother. Like her life being revolving around men. And then when I got a certain age and I started, puberty hit in, I was 13 or 14 years old, the thing that I saw in my mother became my own fucking experience. And when I tell you, it was almost as if I was dragged into the depths of hell as soon as my period started. Because all I could focus on was men, wanting them, desiring them, needing them, from one to the next. And when I tell you, from the time that I was 14 until I got a divorce, I was caught up in a vicious cycle of needing a man, or believing I needed a man, in order to feel loved, cared for, all of that. And when I was in my late 40s, I had this experience, and I've shared this before here, but I was watching a television show on YouTube called Compersion, and you guys can go look it up now. And it's a story about a couple that is attempting to open their relationship up, and it's because the wife wants to be open. She just feels like she needs something else. And the man who plays her possible new partner he was a part of this experience. And so as I'm watching this show, the very last episode, the man who plays her partner, who plays the partner that's possible, but not her husband, opens the door, and my heart literally went, boo! It was the most amazing experience ever. And I thought to myself, what a handsome man. And I was in my house where I live now, and I may have said that out loud, what a handsome man. Later on that day, a girlfriend of mine who lived next door at the time says to me, would you like to go with me to... She actually asked me, would you like to go to Dream Hampton's house with me for Thanksgiving? That's what was going on. And I didn't know Dream. I knew of her, but I didn't know who she was. And maybe some of you guys don't either. But in that moment, I was like, sure, okay. And that Thursday was going to be Thanksgiving. That Thursday came, and I was like, I don't know if I feel like this. I live in Los Angeles. It's a very celebrity-driven place. And I wasn't sure if I felt like that kind of energy because Dream Hampton is a celebrity, or she was at the time. Maybe she still is, I don't know. And so I just wasn't sure if I wanted to do that. So as I was like, I don't know if I really want to go. The voice inside of me said, you should go, you're going to meet somebody. And I was like, okay, cool. So when my girlfriend was like, okay, you ready? You want to go? I was like, okay, cool. So we go to the party, the Thanksgiving dinner at Dream Hampton's house. The door opens, like she knocks on the door opens. And the man that I saw on the show, Compersion, was sitting at the table. And I was like, wow. Like, wow, this is profound. Like, it's almost like he had stepped out of my own psyche and into the experience. So there was a table there. He was sitting at it. There was a chair next to him. I went and sat down. And immediately when I sat down, he was like, hey, how you doing? And I was just like, I was like, but I played it off. I really, because I'm good. Like, I'm poker face like nobody's business. So I was like, I'm good. How you doing? Blah, blah, blah. And we talked. And then we ended up having this incredible conversation. He was like, I teach at Howard. I was like, I graduated from Howard. I started talking to him about the stuff that I do and blah, blah, blah. And we became like fast friends in 10 minutes. When he left the house, as the door was closing, I was getting a text from him that said, it was so nice meeting you. And I would love to connect again. I'm like, okay, because I just had this experience, right? So we became friends, and he was married at the time, and he was in an open relationship, or that's what he was saying. He was saying he was in an open relationship, kind of like the TV show. And so I peeped that and played, but we really became friends because I realized that he was in an open relationship, but his wife wasn't in an open relationship. She was being dragged along. And that was none of my business. So, that was just that. So we stayed friends. We really became friends. And then many years later, he and his wife split up. We were still friends. And at some point, we got closer. And we used to spend a lot of time together. And when I was in this experience spending time with him, this is the point that I wanted to make. I started to feel this energy that was like my mother. Like, I started doing things that my mother would do. So he would come over often, and I would cook, and I would just do all the stuff that my mother did. My mother was the kind of woman that just catered to a man. So I started doing that, and I felt it, and I was like, why the fuck am I doing this? And the spirit in me said, just do it. Just do it. You need to do this. So I went along with it, and it started to pull up that thing in me that is from my mother, that felt like she needed a man to protect her. She needed, like, her whole energy was drawn towards men. And I started to realize that it was something in him that he was sort of feeding off of it too, because I was like, and I was aware that there was a part of me that was like, and then there was a part of me that was like, bitch, get away from me. Like, it was this duality going on. It was a tug of war. And my spirit was like, just lean into the pattern. Lean into it until it runs out. And so I did. And the thing that was really interesting, which is my point, is that I leaned into this Venus energy that feels like romance, that feels like his energy felt so, it just magnetized me. It's almost like it glamored me. And it wasn't anything that he was doing but other than being himself, honestly. Like, he wasn't trying to do this to me. It was just the nature of the dynamic between my wound and his wound playing out. And it got really painful. Like, I started to really agonize over it. And because I was torn, like, there was a part of me, like my old, like the karmic stuff was like, oh my God, I want him, I'm in love with him. But then the rational part of me was like, I have no interest in this man. And Spirit was telling me to play out the old stuff, and I didn't want to do it because it was agonizing. It was a karmic pattern that I did not want to go into, but I had to. And he had come out of my fucking imagination to help me play it out. That's the thing that I was aware of, that he had come, but it was so hard to really lean into it because I could feel rejection in this. I could feel that I was rejecting myself, that I could feel that I was doing the thing that my mother did, which was give her power to men, believe that they are her savior, believe that she needs them in order to be. And I was playing that out, and I was so like, because I couldn't stop it. I had to play it out. And it turned into a big thing with us. And he held space for me. He did not take advantage. Like, I have dated numbers of men who, not numbers of men, but I have dated men who will just take advantage because sex is available. He did not do that. He literally was like, I'm not going to move into a sexual experience with you. I love you. Like, I'm not going to you're vulnerable. Why would if I love you, why would I do something that would actually harm you? Because you're not yourself. Like, he saw it and he honored it. Even when I couldn't honor it. And it was so agonizing and painful. And we used to have this text stream together, like in a notes thing, for those of you who have Apple phones. And I sent him the darkest text in our, like, dark, like the kind of thing I can't go back and read now because it was so dark. And this man held the space for me. He held the space for me. And we stopped speaking for a little while so that I could come back around and gather my energy and break that pattern of seeking validation through sexual connection and romantic illusions with men as a sense of self, as a sense of safety. And I don't have that pattern anymore. It is completely gone. Like, I don't have the thing in me anymore that pedestals a man because of the illusion that he's a protector or that he has more power than me. I don't have any of that anymore. And now my relationship with this man, he comes in devotion. He is in service to the work that I do. He honors me. He respects me. And it's such a powerful thing because when I was in my after I got divorced, I realized that because of the biological experience of men, they will have sex with someone because it's available. Where the woman might be thinking like, oh, this sex is going to make him love me or make him want me or make him choose me. And he has no interest in that other than the fact that you're giving him something that is for free, that he needs biologically. He will say and do whatever is necessary because there is a biological component. And I had an experience with a man where he did not take advantage of that thing, and it freed me. And this is true Venus, the capacity to really be loved and held by the masculine in our rawest form with respect. even, it's almost like he was saying, you're not clear enough to make an honest choice to have a romantic sexual relationship with me. And I am not going to take advantage of you because you're not. I'm going to show you what love really is. And it was since that experience that I truly am capable of really loving myself. And I just want to say that the power of Venus, when it is rooted in the heart and rooted in something that goes beyond, but is inclusive of the sensual sexual nature, but goes beyond it, that moves into the heart, that is when we truly begin to radiate the power of who we are as women. It's something that I'm so new at in my own experience, I don't have a lot of language around it. But I do know that we are not here to worship the masculine. We are not here to deify them. They do not have power over us. And when we are honest with ourselves, and in that experience, I wasn't completely clear because I was still working it out, but I was clear enough to know that something interesting was going on inside of me. It was like, there's a part of me that has no interest in this man in any sort of sexual way. But I'm aware that there is an old code that feels like it's in my DNA that says that I need to seduce him, that says that I need to want him to, I need to do something. And that was the thing that I had to witness. I had to play it out. And he was honest enough, conscious enough, and present enough to hold the space with me while I went into the dark feminine, into the shadow of the feminine, and reclaimed myself, reclaimed my true power while he witnessed me. And that is the energy of the power of Venus and this 13th Venus day on the 13th. It's like, can you claim the dark shadow, your own power back? Can you claim that raw, unbinded, unwielding, massive, dark feminine power? Can you claim it and hold it until it turns into something that is truly deeply honoring and loving of yourself, of who you really are? And that's just the way I did it. It's different for everyone. The way I did it had to be with another person because I have Venus in Libra in the 7th house. So I had to work out my Venus karma with another person. But depending on where your Venus is, you can see how you would really transmute this energy and get your power. If you're a woman who still needs to have her power, many of us still do though, because we have not been accountable. So I had to work out that accountability of my mother's wound that was her mother's wound that I was able to work out inside of me with this person that came out of my subconscious, came out of my own imagination to help me work it out. So that's what I wanted to share today on this Friday the 13th, a Venus Day. What is available for us as women to heal the deep, dark feminine and become a master of your emotions, your desires, your sensual sexual nature, so that you actually can move through the earth realm in the way that you are designed to. All right, y'all. Peace and blessings and happy Venus Day. Bye-bye.